Hello everyone, glad to be here today. This is going to be a very affordable makeup video. We're talking $5 or less and just the best in every category. If you have a friend who loves bargain makeup, share this video with them. If you love this kind of content, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe, of course. But I really had a great time coming up with the products that I would feature today because while I love a lot of drugstore makeup, when you really get to looking at the specific price tag on things, there's much of it that falls above $5, right? Including a lot of your mainstream brands like Maybelline and CoverGirl and Revlon. I would say the majority of products in those lines are coming above the $5 mark. So while there are some things in this video that have been longtime favorites, there are other categories where I really had to think like, okay, I need to readjust here if I'm going to pick a favorite in, let's say, the blush category that's going to fall under that mark. You know, what's the favorite now? So I've got some amazing picks for you, even though it feels like prices at the drugstore are creeping up and up, like when you find a new foundation come out and it's like 12 bucks and you're like, I thought this was drugstore. Or a palette comes out and it's 20 bucks. I know that frustration, but there's still a ton of good stuff at the $5 or under mark, and I'm here to prove it to you today. For a primer, the Believe Beauty brand, I love their glowy primer. This also works as a really pretty liquid highlight, and it's called the Radiantly Primed Face Primer. And if I'm going for something glowy these days, this is the one that I want to grab for. Doesn't necessarily mean my whole overall finished look is going to be glowy because I definitely have a matte foundation, but I feel like even if you are planning to be matte on top of this, this gives the skin a little bit of a boost and you don't end up looking like too dry. But look how pretty that is. Gorgeous glow. I mean, that could even be lovely on its own. But the tone of it is so nice that if you get a little bit on your fingers and you just want a little glow at the end of your look, tap it on the top of your cheekbone. It's so pretty. For foundation, you guys, I have not one, not two, but three great recommendations here for every need, okay? So if you're just wanting natural coverage, not too glowy, not too matte, kind of a strong medium coverage level, I would go for the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. Okay, this is beautiful stuff. It has a pump and a glass jar, but guys, it's only $5 at your local DG. I wear the shade Cashmere, and I've talked about it recently in my favorites video, but it just looks beautiful on the skin. I've rediscovered it recently. Staying power is really nice with this one too, but it just doesn't go to the extremes. It's kind of a middle of the road foundation in that it's not super glowy, it's not super matte. For the people who do like a more glowy foundation, I think the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy is a great option. This one I wear in Buff Bisque, but I recommend this because even so, it's not like an over-the-top dewy foundation. Like, it gives your skin some glow, but not a ridiculous amount. And whenever I wear this, I'm always a little surprised by how satisfied I am. And then for my matte full coverage friends, Rimmel Stay Matte. You know I've talked about this one before. I wear this in the shade Light Buff. It's kind of a moussey, thick texture. A beauty blender, some kind of makeup sponge, dampened is definitely your friend in application with this one. So that's what I'm going to use today because it's been a while for me since I've used this. But it is a full coverage mattifying foundation. That's what they say, and that's what it definitely is. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit out here. We'll use like a small pea-sized amount, pearl-sized amount, and then I just kind of swipe it on. It does have a thick feeling to it, but guys, it blends in so nicely. I just really think I get the best result when I'm using a damp sponge though, for sure. Dampen Beauty Blender. It just needs that little bit of like breaking down into the skin, if you know what I mean. But that coverage, $5. It's really hard to argue with it. Also, I'd like to point out, think about where you're shopping for your makeup, because if you really are serious about saving, if you're buying some of these mainstream brands from Walmart, they're going to run you a little less than they do at Ulta. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. You're going to find the ultimate best makeup deal, usually at Walmart. Now, Ulta sometimes features some BOGOs and some different things with especially the drugstore makeup, and you might have a free gift here or there, or you're gonna get some points racked up, so there's that side of things. But if we're just talking the overall price tag that you're interested in, definitely check Walmart. Okay, check me out. Biddy had a shirt that said check me out on it, and I love that. Just kind of making sure I've got it all worked in. It really is capable of working into the skin so nicely. $5, gang. I always am so impressed with this. For concealer, here's a category where I really had to adjust because e.l.f.'s Camo Concealer, guess what? That's $6. And that, you know, I'm going by the rules here in this video, nothing over $5, even if it's just $1 over $5. And that's really my fave. I love the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, the hydrating version as well, but I needed to look under that price point. And I've had this Mega Last Incognito concealer. I remember using it in a wear test back in the winter time. I have the shade Light Beige, and it did okay for me then. I've tried it more recently, and I'm like, you know, I could get on board with this, especially, you know, I'm rocking this much coverage underneath. I think this concealer can be fine for me. So it has a little more thinness, I think, just a little more than my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, so I would apply just a bit more of this as opposed to the very sparing dots of Camo. But there it is, all dabbed on. And look at the intense brightening we're getting. I would have to say this is probably the best under $5 concealer. It's coming so close to the satisfaction level that I get with e.l.f. Camo Concealer. And another part of why I like e.l.f.'s so much is the wear of it. Like, it just meshes and wears really well with my skin, on my skin type. Part of that might be the very controlled and minimal application that I have with that stuff. This one ain't bad. It's actually quite good. It's definitely like a matte finish concealer. It's not gonna be glowy. It's not gonna be super tacky. It's the kind of thing that I set for staying power's sake, but it's not a real emollient concealer by any means. Look at me. Look at that coverage today, gang. Favorite powder, the Believe Beauty for sure. This is the Believe Beauty Matte Blur Loose Powder. So fine, so natural looking on the skin. I might be starting to like this even more than my Maybelline Fit Me, and that would fall a little above the $5 mark. But this stuff is just beautiful on the skin. I love how it doesn't dull down the under eye area at all. But I will give you a pressed powder favorite, and that would be Rimmel Stay Matte for sure. I love the Sandstorm shade in that for me, and that's a great powder for getting you matte and kind of perfecting your look, but your brush never picks up too much off the pan. It's most definitely a matte pressed powder, not a powder foundation, you know what I mean? But we're gonna do the Believe Beauty today. Only thing I don't love about it is the packaging. Everything just kind of sifts out, but you know, if you're not traveling with it, if you're traveling, get the Stay Matte because it's just pressed and easier. But here, I'm just going to be dabbing some of this on my under eye like I do. Not too much, but again, it's just such a fine powder. It doesn't show up looking thick on the skin. One of my favorite things from this line for sure, right up there with the foundation. And we're just hitting that T-zone as well because, you know, it's August in Southern Illinois. Even if it's a day that doesn't seem like it's going to be particularly steamy hot, I still find myself sweating when I'm outside with my kids. All right, we are mattified and full coverage for sure. What did I put down as my favorite bronzer? Oh, this one's kind of like a new one to me. I recently got this Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer. This has been around for a while. The shade is What Shady Beaches. Kind of love that. But it's a nice deep color and it really goes on beautifully on the skin. Like, I really am impressed with the tone. I would say it's a matte, is there any kind of satin finish? Maybe the teeniest bit of satin finish in this actually. But I'm liking it better than my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, the sculpted version. Just glancing through what else I've got here, it's kind of reminding me of the finished look that I get when I use my Laura Geller Bronze and Brighten. I like it better than the Hoola Glow, and I do like the effect of it. It's just a little bit more dramatic effect than the Believe Beauty bronzer. Also, if we're comparing packaging style to the Physicians Formula stuff, that stuff is so bulky, and look how thin and nice and easy this compact is. Okay, so Wet n Wild, dipping in using my e.l.f. complexion brush here. And just getting that around the hairline. I mean, it's pigmented. And you know what's so funny is that this particular bronzer feels new to me, but one of the first ever makeup products that I really fell in love with was a Wet n Wild bronzer. I'm talking first days of my channel. They had a really deep, nice bronzer that was in that like silver squared off packaging. This was during the days when they made those Ultimate Expressions palettes. It was pre-Comfort Zone and all the clothes. It was before Wet n Wild, I feel, was widely known as a really good quality drugstore brand, but they made amazing bronzers. And I remembered seeing, like, as I would read my magazines, makeup artists would mention how good the Wet n Wild bronzer was, and I just always had that, and I frequently repurchased it. But what I'm getting at here is now I've rediscovered this, and it was probably a lot like this. Like, this is the tone I remember it being, and kind of the texture too. Shady Beaches. Okay, so I'm just getting a little contour going here that's really easy. Just builds up to the level I want it to be very quick. I'm digging it, guys. Anything left on the brush, we'll just let it hit tops of cheeks, tops of nose. My blush and highlight pick for under $5. Love this duo from e.l.f. This is the Watermelon Bite Size Duo. You guys, the blush is amazing, but the highlight is gonna blow your mind. Like, it's so pretty and soft and pearly, and like, there have been some big time situations I've been in lately where I'm like, I want to look my absolute best. I go for that highlight. I love it. But it's a satin finish blush here. Also, if you're kind of into this range and you want to try something else, the Spiced Apple one is really good too. I remember, was it last year? I think doing a whole monochromatic look surrounding the Spiced Apple one. But I'm going to use this beautiful blush. Like, it's such an on-point tone for me. I love this color. And it's great to be getting the 2-in-1. You know, you're definitely saving there. Oh, I love, 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 love that blush. And one of the most satisfying things in makeup, I think, is when you've established such nice full coverage and then you go on with your highlight and that really stands out because your skin is so matte otherwise. So we're gonna go into this, and this looks like peach, and you're thinking, is it really gonna stand out that much, Em? I don't get it. Well, the pearliness of the glow. It's pearly. Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that. Like, who would have thunk it out of that shade? You just think, oh, okay, you know, I need some blush. I'll buy this one. It comes with a little highlight, whatever. And then you try the highlight and it rocks your absolute world. There's an owl hooting out there. The owl can see it through the window. That's how intense it is. Has any other highlight been promoted in that way on YouTube? A little Cupid's bow action, of course. Oh, I just love it. I love this duo. You need this. Need. Then we want to set everything, but we don't want to spend more than $5. I would recommend the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set here. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful little inexpensive mist. This does take the overall finish of my skin and make it look more natural. And for it being this little, like, cheapo seeming mist, it sprays beautifully. It sprays better than some different high-end mists that I've tried. So let's put this on. Nice fine mist, never big droplets. And look at that. I mean, we've got Rimmel Stay Matte as our full coverage, and look at the overall state we're in right now. I love it. Sorry we're on kind of an e.l.f. roll right now, but this is just great e.l.f. stuff. For brows, the $2 Instant Lift Brow Pencil is really hard to beat. I love this stuff. I used it recently in that e.l.f. Back to School set video, but neutral brown's my shade. We're talking a medium thickness, standard thickness for a pencil, type of retractable pencil here, so not your super skinny one. And then the spoolie. So I thought I'd mention that, but also what I'm really loving, and this is a brand new thing, and it's under $5, I think it's $3, the bite-sized brow palette. I have this in dark brown, and you're getting 2 shades of wax here, so one is clear, one is tinted, and then 2 very pigmented brow powders. So I'm going to use that, and e.l.f. also makes a really nice brow brush that you'll want to pick up if you don't have one, so it's angled on one side, spoolie on the other, and I'm going to go straight into the tinted wax, and using one of the waxes first will just help the powders cling in, but there's also a lot of pigment in the tinted shade of wax, so I'm just picking that up with my angled brush, letting it go on through the brow here. I remember loving a brow palette from Too Faced called Brow Envy, and it was essentially this kind of a mix, you know? You had your waxes, you had your powders, and that's how I really like to fill in my brows for a long, long time. But $3 and it's pigmented and good quality. I mean, hard to beat. So again, I am only working with that tinted wax so far. And then I'm going to take, I've got 2 tones of powder here. One is just slightly cooler than the other. I'm going to take that one. I can use both though. They both work. This dark kit is dark though. I wonder if I could even get by with a medium kit. But you can just kind of apply that over top. Brush through with your spoolie, get it all even. Yeah, this is a neat little product. Love this. How many things can e.l.f. make bite size? Now, I do feel I have some hold in my brows, but if you're interested in some kind of a brow gel, the e.l.f. Wow Brow also is going to come under the $5 mark, and that's very comparable to Glossier's Boy Brow. It really is. I mean, it has hold, it has a lot of pigment and tint in the color. It can be one of those one-and-done brow fill-in types of things, so keep that in mind. For eye primer, I bet you thought I was going to cheat here. I bet you thought I was just going to go ahead and use Milani, even though it's like $6.99. No, I'm going to use my Believe Beauty. This is, I think, $4 and change. Lock It In eyeshadow primer. They have this universal kind of beigey shade. I'm just using this on the lids. This really blanks out any discoloration. I believe I used this when I did my cut crease. I think I went in and like re-primed that little patch of eyelid with this, but it's nice. I mean, I have good staying power with it. It's just a little thicker than Milani, and something I love about Milani is how well it functions on its thinness, you know. For eyeshadow, I've got a few things to throw out there. I know I've talked about the Profusion $5 palettes a lot. Specifically, if you're wanting something very natural and everyday, the one called Bare, I think in another video I accidentally called it Nudes, but this palette is such a nice everyday look kind of palette. But they've got so much beyond this. They've got colorful ones, they've got, you know, smoky, they've got one called Natural that's a very well balanced palette, and that's what I love about these. They're $5. You're getting 10 large, very high quality shades. The pigment, you can't argue about it on any of them, but also it's a very thoughtful layout too, a very thoughtful blend of shades, you know. You get one of these and you often feel like, wow, it's very well balanced with the matte and the shimmer and the light and the dark. So that's always something I'm going to talk about if we're in this $5 price range, or even, you know, well beyond. I also like the e.l.f. Bite Size palettes. That's 4 shades for about $3. Great quality, very streamlined amount, which some people really like, and I used that recently in my back to school video. I also would have to say that the Believe Beauty eyeshadow palettes, those are 6 color palettes, $5, and amazing powder texture in those. I love them, especially the neutral one. But did you realize that Wet n Wild also has a 10-pan palette, several different color varieties of this actually, and it's under $5. I hadn't realized that. I didn't realize it was as cheap as it was. It's like $4 and change at Walmart, and this is the Nude Awakening one, and I've been playing with it here recently, and I think it's gorgeous. And they had this kind of a color scheme in, I want to say, a couple of different types of layouts, but now here we are with this, and it seems like maybe you're getting more product here. I haven't actually calculated that, but I love all of these tones, and they're pigmented and nice and easily blendable. And think of like the dramatic deep dark looks you could achieve with this, and also the more natural looks. It's so beautiful. So while I still have all my feelings for the Profusion 10-pan palettes, I thought it might be fun to feature something different. And this is definitely one of those under $5 finds that should not be ignored. I also have, I got this one quite a while back, this color scheme called Heart and Soul, and we've got some beautiful like warmth in here, deep burgundy, peachy rosiness, so they've got a lot of pretty color schemes, I must say. But I'm going to use this today. Shout out Wet n Wild. They also have smaller ones too that are like $2 and change, and they're a 5-pan palette, and they've been out for a little while now, so I'm probably not telling you guys anything you don't know, but I'm going to use this shade right here to set up my crease. Just a little beigey goodness. Yes, this look is really going to be the kind of look I like to do. Did you notice I'm wearing a burgundy shirt? I earned my way here. I earned this, okay? Last week I did the blue look. I'm going to do some more color, though. I really am. These palettes from Temptalia and Sydney Grace, like, they kind of got me on a thing now. But this Wet n Wild, you're going to love it. So look at that beautiful, easy, crease with ease right there. Natural looking, naturally contoured, right? Could we stop there? Could we throw on a lash? Absolutely. I'm gonna clean off my brush a bit and I'm gonna go into this matte cream shade here. That's another thing I like. Matte cream, shimmer cream. Like everything is well balanced in this one. There's a reason why, even though like they've discontinued some of the other packaging designs, they've kept this Nude Awakening color scheme for a while now, haven't they? Okay, there's our highlight. I'm ready to start laying down some serious darkness in my outside part. I think I'm gonna go to this matte, near black brown. Wet n Wild. $4.98. The pigment. This is about placing right now, and then I'm gonna do some blending. This is kind of like a mini Emily Awards, you know? We just really shrunk down the landscape of where I was choosing products from. Some of these affordable brands are just doing awesome stuff. So as you can see, I'm not really paying attention to having a blended look right now. I'm just getting it on there. I'll take that same brush that I used in my crease. Camera wants to be real slow to get me in focus today. And now we blend the edge. I gotta do a nice look that I really like today because it's my anniversary. Me and Bub's anniversary, 15 years married. See how beautifully that deep shade is blending out for us? Like that's saying something. The fact that we can get such an easy merge going here. I mean, some dark shades would apply and just kind of stick and be difficult. Then I'm going into this little tap in. A small tap in pulls up quite a bit of color. And I'm hitting the crease with the burgundy shade there. You see how it's just taken on a little bit of a tone shift now? Yes. Where we at out there, owls? I'm slaying it right now. It's my audience. Can you even? Oh my goodness. Now I'm feeling like I want to just blend the edge. Buff even more. All the blendability. Pure joy and satisfaction. Let's play with some black. We're not leaving it out. Let's go even darker here. Even darker outer corner. I feel like I used more black shadow back in the day. I don't know, being in the old house, I remember doing some more looks where there was more black involved. Maybe back in those times when everybody's like, you have to have matte carbon. Oh, wow, gang. If you haven't tried this little palette here, or if you got it somewhere lurking, bust it out. Enjoy. I'm living for this. Now I'm using this little shadow switch from Sigma. I haven't shown you guys this yet, have I? Yoink. This little guy, it's like a little silicone mat sitting over here, and I can rub my brush back and forth on it, and like it clears the brush of the shadow I just used. Because we're gonna go with some shimmer on the lids. Let's start innermost part with some of this light pearly. And the thing is, I feel like this eye look hasn't taken me that long. Like I've got a beautiful dramatic eye that I want to like get remarried in right now, and I used under $5 Wet n Wild and I threw it together in like 5 minutes. Okay, so we'd put a little lightness just right here. And I'm thinking what shade I want to go. I want to use this rose gold right here. Just pat that on this little gap. Oh. I'm sorry, Bub, I'm actually going to run away with this eyeshadow palette for my next 15 years. Love. Okay, really gorgeous look. And I ain't done yet. I'm going to go under the eye. Let's not leave out this one right here. This like deep, shimmery, plummy looking shade. Let that come to play on the lower lash line. And then I'm just kind of going to nothingness with that. I'm working that all the way along this lash line without even going back for more. Little goes a long way with these. Maybe I have a tiny speck of fallout. The teensiest. Love it. And if we're really wanting to multitask, could you see me contouring with that perhaps? Perhaps setting the under eye here, maybe highlighting with that. Just saying. For eyeliner, by far my favorite under $5 eyeliner would be the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof. I specifically repurchased this for this video because I've already gone through one of these and it's really great. NYX Epic Ink is another good one, but I believe it's not under $5. This one is brush tip liner that lasts, okay? So we're just going to go across the upper lash line with this. I haven't used a lot of liquid liner recently, actually. I've been using a lot of pencils, trying different pencil liners. Yeah, I like that. This is just so black. It's going over some light shimmery stuff here, and yet still so black, so rich. Then I'm kind of thinking I want to hit my inner corner a little bit more with that shimmer, this shimmery shade right here. Boom. By the way, what's going on with the Rimmel Scandalize liner in nude? Are they not selling that anymore? I was trying to get that again as a nude lower waterline, and like almost every shade of that product was out except for one. Okay, so just a little more glow there in the inner corner. For my mascara pick, whoa. What I chose was the Essence Lash Princess Sculpted Volume because I feel it is the closest thing to IT Cosmetics Superhero. In its best application, I use it with Estee Lauder Little Black Primer, which definitely is not under $5. So I'm just going to use this today, but it's still good on its own. I've gotten my mom onto this as well. She was a big superhero fan also. But it just kind of builds up quickly. You know, it gives you that kind of more thickened, dramatic look compared to some of the other Lash Princess options. May not be the most raved about one by the masses, but it's worth checking out for sure. Got this little curved brush, very manageable, nicely tapered toward the tip. Definitely prefer this brush shape over the new one they put out, the curling one, the pink one. So some nice thickness and length there. Really love that mascara. And now we're gonna give some lip products some love. And this was tough thinking about lip liners because I feel like the Revlon Color Stays are the best. Like they have the most amazing staying power, yet they're easy to glide on. You know, I love Raisin and Mauve from that line, but they're over $5. So I really had to kind of reevaluate here. I know Essence has some good lip pencils, but also I remembered how much I liked the gel lip liners from Wet n Wild. This one called Bear to Comment is a nice nude, and then more recently I got this Lay Down the Mauves one. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the nude, and then maybe I'll add in some of the other. But they go on really nicely. See that glide? I don't think they last quite as well as the Revlon, but if we're trying to keep it within the navigational beacons here on the price range, this is where we're at, and I like them. See, that's a really pretty nude color. And then your mauve, let's bring a little bit of that in. A little darker, as you can see, a little cooler. Really love that easy matte lip right there. For lipstick, one that really comes to mind is a great standard across the board, any occasion lipstick, Milani Teddy Bear. Rediscovered because of TikTok more recently, but I remember using it like way back when it was first put out, these color statement lipsticks. It's creamy, it's smooth, it's not over the top shiny, but really beautiful color there. Kind of, you know, deep, dusty rose is what I call that. And then also the e.l.f. Sheer Slick. If you're looking for an amazing dupe for the e.l.f. or for the Clinique Black Honey, I talked about this in my favorites video. I've been using it a lot lately, so it is kind of front burner for me right now. But that beautiful berry color with the moisturizing balmy feel. I also like those balms that e.l.f.'s doing that have the little heart on the inside. I've duped a couple of NARS balms with those. Those hydrating core lip shines, also amazing. And then the e.l.f. lip lacquer. I really feel like I came into a gem when I tried this and realized just how similar it is to the texture and just the pigment level of the ABH glosses. This shade called Love Bite is so pretty. I'm not sure what I want to do going over this. Maybe I'll just do a little bit of this. I feel like I've got about the shade of Teddy Bear lipstick on my lips right now. Let's get a little shimmer, a little glow. yummy. I would like to say thank you so much, everybody, for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this. It was really fun for me to go through all these different categories and really hone in on what I think are the best products for under $5. And they're all favorites. Like, I'm kind of sitting here thinking about my little recap. Like, how do I choose some top products from this video? I was so impressed with the foundation and really every foundation I mentioned. I think the concealer did really well for me, even though it wasn't e.l.f. Camo concealer. A couple of definite standouts also, though, were this Wet n Wild Nude Awakening palette and also this e.l.f. Bite Size Duo in Watermelon. So lovely. In fact, I think I'm going to put on a little more blush. People should start taking bets on whether the blush gets reapplied at the end of the video or not. Sometimes once you finish the eye and you finish the lip, the blush just needs to rise up for a moment. Okay. Love it. Thank you guys so much. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this. We could do an under 10 one. Heck, maybe I could do a $3 or less. That might be really hard. But thank you guys always for your love and support and your time. I appreciate you and I love you. I will see you very soon. Bye.